Do we think he's missing a little piece?
Yeah,
Yeah, right? Right.
That's the one picture that.
Boker Tov. We learned Lili Nishmat Avigdor Chai Avram Ben Rachel Leah Mer Tzvi. And we are, again, this particular parak is chopped up very differently in every printing. So we're on the Mishnah. Mine is, it's parak bet, chapter 2. Mine says Mishnah Tet. It could be Yud, it could be Yud Aleph, it could be a whole bunch of possibilities. We're in this listing of things that people have been saying, that what is the best path in life to choose? What is the derech yishara, the proper path? And I think I mentioned last week the word derech is nekeva. It's derech yishara, derech kitzara, not yashar or katzar. So what is the proper path? And we were finishing off the last opinion, which was Rabbi Lazar ben Arach, which said, wait 1 second. We're in chapter 2, Mishnah Tet or Yud, one of those. Yeah. Hey. Okay. Of what is considered the proper path to choose. So far we've seen the idea of a chaver tov, an ayin tova, good eye, meaning looking at things positively. I'm just giving like bullet points for last time. That's all. A good eye, meaning looking at things properly, and not only that, but also trying to be dan lekav zechut. We also talked about chaver tov, a good friend, what that meant. What's that? We did? That's right. Yes, good eye, good eye. And we are on the last opinion, sorry, the second to last opinion. No, we're in the middle, whatever. Shachen tov. We're going to talk about shachen tov, a good neighbor. When we first made Aliyah 15 years ago, Baruch Hashem, I started to learn with someone in the community about a month after we arrived, and we weren't sure what we were going to learn together. We decided to learn the Shulchan Aruch Hilchot Shchenim, the rules that govern neighbors and how you deal with each other and how you have to make sure not to cause any damage and how you get along, all these wonderful things. It was very helpful, actually. It's very good. So on the very, very simplistic level, to be a shachen tov. Now remember, we're talking about what is the proper path in life to choose. This sounds a little bit limiting, which is to be a shachen tov. Why is that any different than a chaver tov? Well, they have different, they're different in many ways. Yeah, of course, go ahead, ask. Yes. It's a good question. From the commentaries that have come across, it sounds like Jewish. Well, that's it, right? That's it. To be when you have a non-Jewish neighbor, you're talking about having the issue also thrown in of Chil Hashem. That you could do things that maybe you can do sort of maybe with the still within the area of halacha, but with someone Jewish. But when it comes to non-Jews, you got to be a little obviously more careful because of potential Chil Hashem. That's a good point. But again, the things that the comments I've seen from Rashi and others, it seems to be talking about Jewish neighbors. Shachen Tov is more, is more, I don't know what the right word is, severe, more relevant for many people because it's a constant. Chaver Tov is someone you choose to go get together with, to talk to when you want, when he or she wants. Shachen Tov is, they're your shachen. They're in your building, they're in your neighbor, they're across the hall from you, they're in your Hidat Dior, what's that? Right. So Baruch Hashem, we have a wonderful extended family in our building. Baruch Hashem. So what's that? You paid me to say that. That's right. That's right. No, we've been blessed, truly, in our building. We really are. But also it's harder to be a shachen tov than it is to be a chaver tov. Again, because you can choose when you want to help somebody or not help somebody, to back away, to get a little closer, to be there for somebody. When it's your shachen, it's more there on in your face. It's 24/7. It really is, because you have to understand you're not living in a bubble. Now, if you want to extend that, I didn't really see this anywhere, but if you want to extend it, that whether you live, you can talk in a metaphorical sense, because we're all part of one big family, and we're all shchenim in whether it's in the by the same word shchuna, the neighborhood, and mishkan, the tabernacle, is this shin kaf nun is the shoresh. It's very very useful in many things. Shochen ad, all kinds of nice things. But it requires a ma'amat. It requires more exertion to be a good neighbor than that is to be a good friend. They both are important, both are critical, and that's the opinion of who we just said. That was Rabbi Yossi. Very good. We move on to Rabbi Shimon, who talks about haro'eh et hanolad. Okay, this one we're going to spend a little bit of time on. First, let me tell you the general meaning, and then I'm going to call it up on my screen. A couple of commentaries that I came across that I want to share with you. Whoops. Should have had this ready before, but I didn't. So deal with it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. He says yes, and then he double checks. But yes, I am. Okay. What does it mean about etanah? Literally, it means he sees that which was born. What does that mean? The general meaning is I take action on something, but at the same time, I'm also aware of potential hashlachot or consequences or ramifications of my action. For example, if I am in charge, I was, as you know, I think I mentioned many times that I was, before a rabbi, I was in the business world. I was director of purchasing for many years for a manufacturer. It was a great preparation to go into the rabbinate, by the way. It was fantastic. It really was. You learned a lot. I got a lot of real world experience. So I had a theory. The company was like 75 people. That if you picture an organizational chart, you have this president, CEO, and you have the upper management, and you have the middle management, lower management, line workers, that the lower you are on that chart, the more critical your absence is. The president can go away for 2 weeks. Maybe he has to sign checks or give some decisions. There's a phone, there's other things. But the guy who's in charge of shipping and receiving, a truck comes in the dock and he's out sick, or he just didn't show up because he's drunk. Been there, done that. Not me being the drunk, but the guy who works for me drunk. It affects everything. All these trucks are coming in, no one to unload it. Which is why, by the way, I learned how to drive a forklift. Yes, another talent that I tried to gain experience in life, and one is driving a forklift. Huh? Yeah, you think you know a guy, and then you find out he drives a forklift. First time I did, I was scared out of my mind because you go off this little ramp, you go into a truck, and it goes. Like oh gosh! But then I was moving. What's that? Yes, that's right. But it was fun actually. Anyways, so the guy who's in shipping and receiving, who's not there, his decision to sleep late or get drunk, it has a tremendous ramification. Again, that's a little bit extreme right now, but it may be the decision. I decide, you know what, I'm too tired to teach a class. So that affects other people. They have to change their plans now. So that's etanolad means what are the results? What's that? What are the ramifications of my decisions? Okay, that's the basic meaning. We're going to go a little bit deeper. The little bit deeper meaning is as follows. What does it say in English? I'm curious. Etanolad. What?
The outcome is one's positive or negative actions before they occur.
Say that again. Anticipating positive or negative outcome. It's the one that says etanolad, one who sees that, which will occur or. Okay, good. All of these translations. What's that?
So, is it Ted?
I don't know, because every printing is different. In this chapter, it's all messed up. It could be Ted.
It is all messed up.
Yes, it is. One is Ted, one is Yud, one might be Yud Aleph, because there's some that are very. The Mishnah we're doing is very long in my printing, and others it's chopped into 3 Mishnayot. Okay. You see it? Okay. Yud Gimel? Oh wow. Okay. It's all different chapter altogether. You're in chapter 2. It's a person. It's more than anticipation. It's one who can, right. I like that one. You consider the outcome of your actions, right? I decide I'm going to go early to shul to do something. I decide I'm going to call a friend. I decide what are the in positives could be good. I'll help somebody or I'll hurt someone by accident if I do this or that. I decide to, people who make bad decisions, and they say, I'll cheat on my taxes. You've never come across anybody like that. I will, whatever it is. And they don't think about their actions. There's this concept in law and the crime of passion. You walk in and you see something happening and you are so overcome with emotion. From that moment, you do something under any other circumstance, 99.9% of the time, you wouldn't do. So you're not thinking about what are the ramifications of stabbing that person or hurting that person at that moment, right? I mean, if it comes to my own family, try to get near that. That's it. I don't care the ramifications. Put me in jail. You're toast. So that now there's one problem with this. Everything, all these translations are right. This is all what this means, but the word no. So in other words, what all this is about future, right? You do something, you think about the future. The problem is the word nolad is present or past. It's not future. It should say sheyivale. What will come? What will be the result? Past tense though, or present tense, because they both are correct. So let's take a listen to a couple comments.
So you said about the guy who gets drunk and doesn't come to work.
Yes.
Okay. So it'll be the same for somebody who is wasting time and watching movies, so to speak. Let's just say watching movies.
There's the consequences and ramifications to everything we do.
Right. Yeah, because then he doesn't come on time or
Right.
at all.
Right.
That's,
No, there's almost everything we do, and most of the things we do are not big, massive changes in life if we do them a little differently. Most things, but we make literally hundreds of decisions every single day. Every single day, they're not even consciously made. You're going to put on this shirt or that shirt. You're going to go into the car. Now you're going to go 2 seconds later. You're going to open the door here. You're going to walk into. They're constantly making decisions. I have an apple or I have an orange, right? I can have flaxseed or a cookie. Anyways, so let's talk about why it is in the past and or present tense and not in the future tense. I'm going to read you a couple things and I'll translate. B'sifrei Chasidut, in the writings of Hasidus. It is clarified that the requirement of a person is he should see the things that in the future will occur as if they are right now in the present happening in front of his eyes. Meaning, why according to Sifrei Chasidut is it in present tense? It means that I would be able to see right now, if I decide, just use myself as an example, I decide I'm not going to teach my Pirke Avot class this morning. I decided at 8:55, Joel's already walking here, right? You're already walking here. You're opening a door. I make a decision at 8:55, and I make that decision, and I think according to Sifrei Chasidut, I'm supposed to say, I see right now the immediate results, even though they didn't happen yet. He's going to, be upset. I walked all the way here for nothing, not or whatever it is. So, but I feel it and I understand it right now. Not, it's going to happen down the road. That's in one opinion. It's as if it was born right now, that occurred right now, even though it didn't yet happen. In Tanya, by the Alter Rebbe, by the Admor Zaken, that the meaning of this expression is Hachova al ha'adam lirot ketzad nivra v'hitave nolad. It's a completely different perspective that the Rebbe has, that the Admor Zaken has. He said, it's nothing to do with planning future and making decisions and thinking ramifications. He says our job in this world is to see how everything came into existence, to understand that there's a Borei Olam, that nothing happens, that only Hashem can do yesh me'ayin, which is called in Latin ex nihilo, which means something out of nothing. No matter how hard the smartest scientist on earth tries, it's against the laws of physics and nature, the way Hashem created this universe, for something to be created out of nothing. You need something to create something, which is why the whole concept of the Big Bang, by the way, it could work, but it still had to be started with something, some compound, some material, and where'd that come from? So that's the Ro'et Onolad, means that everything the person sees, how everything came into existence in this world, and everything is yesh me'ayin. Nothing in this world we can do. Everything came because of Hashem. A different perspective. Chatam Sofer, also known as the Chasam Sofer, says, He says, why is it in past tense? He's looking at it as being a past tense statement. He sees that which occurred or happened. He says like this, that only someone who pays attention and considers what happened in the past, what already was born, and that only then can we become smart. What is hidden in our future is based on the past. You know, what does that mean? There's the expression, what? I can't remember. I never remember his name. The famous line of those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. Was said by, I've looked it up, like, that's, please look it up. What's that? No, there's one who's credited with originally saying. Right, but that's a different meaning. That's a different meaning. Right, that's correct. That's correct. But you look it up, please, and tell me. It's a cool name. I remember that. It'd be like, no, it wasn't Kierkegaard. No. Okay. Shantayana. George Santayana. Right, that's it. Yeah. It's one of those pieces of information will never stay in my head. You'll ask me tomorrow, I won't remember. I don't know why. You never what? Those who yeah, George Santayana. Right. Right. So it's been used, it's been in different Gilgulim, right? Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know if you took credit. I mean,
they're getting credit where credit is due. Speaking of giving parenthetical commercial here, for the person giving credit where credit is due, you may have seen I sent out a notice that Bezrat Hashem a week from last night, next Wednesday night at 8:30 at Pnei Shmuel, I'm going to be giving a talk that I've been wanting to give for a while. I've been asked to by many people also. And it's been, I'll give a little more background then, but it's been stuck in my head. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to say. Then I came across a talk by someone in Florida. I'll mention his name then and give credit. I messaged him asking for permission to use the basis of his speech for mine. And so yeah, of course. So it's very important to give credit where credit is due. It's very important because otherwise it's going to have a dot. You're really making someone think that you thought of all those things. You know, look, there's a concept in halacha called koneh b'shinui. If a person steals something and they make a change to it, they acquire it. They don't have, when they are caught, they have to return the monetary value, but they're allowed to keep the product. So there's a joke they say in rabbi world that if you have someone's got a good speech or a good sermon or good Dvar Torah and you use it, make a little change. You're koneh with the shinui, so you didn't steal it anymore. I don't buy that. That's why I try to give credit where credit is due. Oh, that's called that's outright plagiarism too. Where it's a footnote or
I've always wondered how much did I need to change so that I wasn't like I don't
right.
know.
Right. That's true. True. Right, exactly. So another perspective here. So that's the Chassan Sofer says that you need the past to be able to understand the ramifications. In other words, if I had never yeah, exactly. If I had never repaired a refrigerator, I don't know where that even came from, right? So I have no experience in what potentially will happen if I mess it up. I can make a guess, but it'll be based on, you know, what I think that may happen. But if I repair a refrigerator and then a freon all escaped and all this, everything melted in the freezer, then I'd think twice the next time I decide to do that instead of calling a repair person. The Chovot HaLevavot, Bachya Pakuda, Chovot HaLevavot says, Madgim zot ba'ofen ha'pashut biyoter. He says he looks at it from the most simple way. Adam she'ibed et koach hazikaron bilvad, mitnaheg kishoteh. A person who loses his memory, everything is perfectly healthy, but has lost his memory, will act like someone who is a shoteh. Shoteh literally means a fool, an imbecile, right? Even if he's someone who's extremely intelligent. Because without using that which he's accumulated and acquired as memory in the past, he could lose his humanity. What does that mean? We'll put it in modern day terms. God forbid a person has dementia, a person, God forbid, has Alzheimer's. You see, and I've seen, I'm sure many of you have seen the horrific results that come from that. Someone who is brilliant and everything else, and then the ramifications. So he says that this idea means, I'm adding words here to him, work your minds. Work on your mind. Make sure you stay mind healthy as well. There's going to be also another commercial. I forgot, a sub commercial, which I'll mention Bezrat Hashem when I do this talk next week. Bezrat Hashem, I'm working with Susie on putting together a little panel. This because the thing I'm doing is not open for questions and answers. We're going to do something with myself, Susie, and hopefully a doctor do something, which I guess we'll do something like mind, body, and soul. Something that catchy phrase. Be hopefully maybe short time after, a week later or something. We're still working on that, so that's also coming. The goal being trying to help the community.
Yeah, thanks so much. So I just the grammar of it, because it is what we need for okay. So nolad, right? So it's like nifra, which is passive. So what does it mean in English passive? It's like is born or was.
Correct.
Both of those.
Correct.
So what's the difference between something that is born and something that was born? Not very much, because really, if you want to talk about a baby that is being born, then you would say is being born.
Right. Present progressive.
Progressive. So that's why is and was with the passive on it. It's like all the same.
Correct. That's very good.
And that's why there's the nuance.
Very, very good. The female. I like that. By the way, the most common, well-known usage of the word nolad in a Mishnah is Beitzah shenoda b'Yom Tov. There's a Mishnah in the beginning of Beitzah that talks about what happens if a chicken lays an egg on the first day of Chag. Is it muktzah? Is it not muktzah? Right. So it means an egg that was laid on Chag. Right.
So it's really, both of them are really passive and almost.
Right.
Almost past.
Right. So so between the past and the past progressive and all, it's almost all the same in this particular context. Excellent. There's another one here I have because this one really, this is for Lev Tov, that comes after. Okay. So I think that we've drilled down a nice amount here on this concept of Ro'et and Olad. But again, we can't lose sight of the fact that all these things, even though he's going to come to the conclusion that I see the opinion of Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, which we didn't get to yet, of being a Lev Tov, is like all-encompassing and considers everything that we've said before. Each one in its own right has a tremendous value. And all of us at this table, there's no question that we, not all the time, but hopefully a good percentage of our time when we make a decision on something, we're considering something, especially if it's important, what are the potential outcomes, good or bad? The next opinion is Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, just as Rabbi Elazar, but Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, Lev Tov, a good heart. Okay, so what's a good heart mean? And why good heart? Why not good kidneys? A good pancreas. What's the Lev? First comment I'm going to give is I'll read to you, is from Steinsaltz. He actually quotes a couple of individuals. And Avot Rabbi Natan, now when I talked about the introduction to Pirke Avot, I mentioned also a larger work called Avot Rabbi Natan, which is Pirke Avot, but on steroids. It has a lot more information, so to speak. So in Avot Rabbi Natan, in the words of Rabbi Elazar, he says it's the same Mishnah, but expanded. It says, Lev tov la shamayim, v'lev tov la beriyot. A good heart for the heaven and a good heart for the briot, like the people, creations. Okay. She'ha'adam yirtzeh la'asot et hatov klapei HaKadosh Baruch Hu and klapei habriot. That a person wants to do good in their heart, both regarding Hashem and his fellow human being. So what does that mean? That is a little different than saying Lev Tov. First, right now, we're just going to very generically say Lev Tov, the person has a good heart. We're going to see a little bit more what that means. But what does it mean to have a Lev Tov l'shamayim and Lev Tov l'briot? That means don't be duplicitous. Don't be two-faced. Don't be, never remember the word in English. When you say one thing and do another, hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite. Thank you. Chas v'shalom. Right. Don't be hypocritical. Like I might be a really nice person to somebody, but when it comes, or I might daven real well, but to the person, I'm just no good. So yes, it's exactly what it is. So being good at but having a lev tov doesn't necessarily mean only in the way you act and what you do. Thank you, Judy. What it means also in how you feel about something. Yes. Correct. And that's why at this next line, the mission is going to be is I see that the words of Elazar are more are like the answer to the question of what is the proper path to choose in life, because within all this Shachen Tov and Ro'et and all that, all those fall under the category, says, of Lev Tov. But what does it mean to be a Lev Tov? Second opinion here, second comment. There are others who have emphasized the midah of sovlanut. What's the difference in Hebrew between savlanut and sovlanut? Savlanut means patience. Sovlanut means tolerance. What does tolerance mean? First, what's patience? I'm standing in line at Supersol, Shalom Eda, Gam Kelech Begates on Navet, and the person in front of me has one item, and the next row has 14. And the one 14 is done first.
Oh.
It happens to me every single time. I told you already. You see me in line, get in a different line. Okay, it just happened to me the other day, literally the other day.
I just don't get that.
Huh? Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. I like technology a lot. There's certain things I shy away from, and that's one of them. I don't like doing self-checkout, except in the States. I don't know why. A couple times I go shopping from there. I don't mind. Anyways, so savlanut means, okay, I'm meant to be here, whatever. It's going to take an extra couple minutes. Digression for a very quick story I just read the other day. Where did I see it? I forgot already. There was a guy who was guy posted it on Facebook. Someone I don't know. And someone shared it. It's a great story. He was on his way to Australia recently. And he missed his flight or something happened, and he was stuck in the airport for many hours ahead of a very long flight to Australia. And he says, I was reminded of the story I heard about a woman who was in New York when the Lubavitcher Rebbe Zatzal was alive, and the woman called up the Rebbe. She wanted an eitzah, what to do. She called him up, and his secretary said, please ask the Rebbe what I should do. I'm stuck in New York. And he responded with, the Rebbe doesn't understand the word stuck. So she tries to explain it. She says, no, he understands the English. He says, what do you mean you're stuck there? If you're there, there's a reason. Understand you have to figure out what the reason is that you're there. You're not stuck. God didn't stick you there. You're there for a reason. And that really resonated with me, because it's something I try to teach and try to live by. I was stuck at Divat Moshe Shabbat, coming home for over an hour because of the roads because they were checking on the roads and everything else. And it was a gigantic backup and no buses. Once I understood what was going on, I was, okay, fine. But in the beginning, it was like, come on, I want to get home already. I was away for Shabbat. So that's savlanut, having patience. Sovlanut is tolerance. Tolerance is a very different perspective. I may not agree with how someone lives their life. Okay, but I will tolerate what they do. I'm not going to start yelling and screaming and they're wrong and they're no good. I will. That's again, it's very, very shitchi, very surface right now, because it goes a lot deeper than that. When you learn Ezrachut in high school, you find that there are all these different things, these concepts, these musagim in Ezrachut. One is savlanut, one is soflanut, and one is pluralism, and all these other things. There's a very difference between pluralism and tolerance. Pluralism means we're going to have a meeting, and we're going to include the non-religious, the semi-religious, the very religious, and the Haredi. We're going to all do something together, kumbaya together. That's pluralism. Sovlanut means you're going to have a meeting of people who are, they call queers for Palestine. And that is such an oxymoron. Okay, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. That's a very big difference. Okay, so he says here that this idea of a lev tov indicates the concept of sovlanut, tolerance. Omnam, mefarshim acharim izbiu shehakavana hi lekoach ha'iyum, that it means the idea of the power of looking at something. Shal adam lilmod ulasig b'chsichlo et divrei chochma, that a person must learn and acquire his intellect with different things of intelligence. We remember he was described, Elazar ben Arach was described as an overflowing cistern. And this is what is also indicated by his idea of always adding to his knowledge base, just to the point where it's overflowing. So that's another possibility of what it means of to have lev tov. There's one more. Let me get here. Spring. Okay, yeah, makes it right. What's that?
I really struggle with sablan and sobran, right?
Yes.
Your example of tolerance with where's Palestine?
Yeah.
So that doesn't,
my acting against them is not sovlanut. My just saying, do what you want to do, that's
so
sovlanut.
tolerating is like allowing it and not pushing against it.
Correct.
But it's not accepting it.
No,
it's not, right?
No. It's not acceptance. That's pluralism.
So tolerance is like one step away from arguing. Almost.
Yes.
And I'm holding myself. I'm keeping myself tied up so that I don't.
Which is why it has the same shorish as savlanut, because you're really having savlanut with yourself.
Right. It
in
has
a
nothing
sense.
to do with that, really.
Right.
Right. But tolerance then isn't such a.
Can't you have tolerance?
Museum of tolerance.
That's all.
So
What's that?
tolerance isn't a positive term necessarily.
Yeah, no, it depends on your perspective. It could be. It could be. It depends whom you ask. If I'm very, I'm making this up. If I'm tolerant of,
Somebody doing evil things, like. say,
Right.
well,
that's his problem.
But tolerance and patience is, like, let's say you have we talked about shachito. So let's say you have a neighbor and the neighbor does something that's really not okay.
Yeah.
And it happens on your property. They have trees and
Right.
they won't cut them down and the leaves always fall and you have very.
But you have the right to cut them down yourself. Yeah. Interesting. Very good. Yeah.
So you're tolerating it because
Yeah.
you're frustrated or whatever. But at some point you understand the person better for whatever reason. They planted them from a pop and they've been there for 40 years and like they have their reasons or whatever. And they
Right.
planted it and it was in honor of a son who died. Then so now you find patience.
That maybe, that may
I don't
work.
know.
Yeah.
Sometimes being tolerant is kind of an easy way out of not acting.
It means you don't want to, again,
Accepting the other.
Well, like
Even if you
sometimes-
don't agree.
But sometimes like people, I'm being tolerant. They're not really being tolerant. They're just not speaking out. But sometimes it's really important to. speak
right.
out.
No. I agree. There's a fine line there.
You're not working it out.
Mhm.
You gotta figure it out.
Yes.
When people tell jokes against Jews,
Uh,
they're at a party and someone says.
That's different.
I don't think that's,
Well, she's not speaking up. She's not, it goes back. to-
no, if the idea of it bothers you, but you don't say anything, that's not tolerance. I don't think that's tolerance. Yeah.
Tolerance, it's not necessarily, there's not an inherent negative or evil, but.
I think with intolerance, you could say that they have the right to do that, but it's not me. I don't think the person has the right to make the Jew
Right,
jokes.
that's right.
That's different. Yeah.
So give me an example in the family.
Uh-huh.
Here, this family.
Yes.
Somebody's having such patience.
Yes.
For so-and-so and tolerating this other. Give me
Okay, I'll tell you an example.
please, thank
You have a child that's learning to walk, or a child that's having a problem with math, or a child that is struggling in school. And it requires a lot of patience. Sit there and go over this and review, help the child learn to walk, start again. 2 + 2 is 4, 2 + 3 is 5. And that's savlanut, first of all, that's patience. Sovlanut means a person has a child who's off the derech, right? And they're no longer religious. I'm not necessarily happy about it, but they're still my child.
Oh.
Still my child. I tolerate, I would like them to be religious, right? I'm not going out and pounding them over the head. I may express my opinion, but I'm not pounding them over the head. I think that falls into soflanut. I think so. Okay, if that helps. I could be wrong. I have no patience for someone who doesn't have patience. Okay, yeah. It depends on your perspective. Of course it does, because let's say, for example, you do have Queers for Palestine marching here in the neighborhood. God
Oh.
forbid, okay? And I just sit back there and we say, okay, let them do what they want to do. That's wrong. I'm sorry.
That's why I
Okay.
said sometimes tolerance is not tolerance. It's being,
It's being
that's not- right.
adish. But I don't remember the word in English for adish. How do you say adish in English? Apathetic, right? Being apathetic is something else. It's very bad. By the way, that was the biggest mistake that was made in the time of Korach. And I mentioned this, I think, in some class this week. Korach and 250 of his followers, they're going against Moshe, they're going against their own. There's not a single thing written anywhere that I've ever come across what the average person on the street did. Mouths are quiet. Adish. Well, that didn't work out.
That's what
They
I'm
didn't
trying to
get
say,
focused
that
on
apathy
the
and
thing.
tolerance.
Right, Yeah, but it was, we think of it as being like a massive, it was big, but we're Jews. People talk. Vayaviu kol b'machaneh. What happened when it says the Parshat Truma, when they're bringing all the things for the dedications, and they're bringing the wool and the linen, not the wool, whatever, the purple stuff, and then it says Vayaviu kol b'machaneh. It says the word went out in the camp. Vayikaleha amei havi. The people stopped bringing, and there was there was enough, and there was leftover. It's an expression the Torah uses. So yeah, the words circulate pretty fast among our people. I'm going to read one more thing to you. I'm trying to remember where I saw this. This is in English. Where did I see this? Okay, I'll try to remember who said this as I'm reading it. Rabbi Lezer says a good heart, that if you want to multiply good in the world, try to attach and refine yourself to have a good heart, not only towards those you love, but also towards those you hate, in quotes, and do not say, how can I do a favor? And don't say, how can I do a favor to the one I don't like when he did not stand up to me for me in my time of need and pressure? If you act like this, you will not stand up or not be punished, as these laws were explained in Parshat Kedoshim. Because the Torah tells us we have to seek peace, and if a person does evil to his fellow man, he should not remember the evil, but he should try to act kindly towards his enemies, and then his hater will feel remorse and say, I drove with so-and-so in a bad way, I dealt with so-and-so in a bad way, and he stopped. I'm overwhelmed. And from his thoughts of reconciliation, peace can come to him. And also that the heart is the abode of the soul and wisdom. So I'm not going to read the rest of this, but I will segue for a moment, again, back to the book of Tanya, which the whole book is basically a very large part of the book, deals with the right side and the left side of the heart, the side of the nefesh elokit, the godly soul, and nefesh bahamit, the animalistic soul, which is a good thing. Sounds bad. It's also good, positive that we need. And where the spiritual sense, which sides of the heart they're on and what they do and how one wants to overcome the other and one wants to overcome the other. The heart is the seat of the emotion. The heart is the seat of decision. Many people make the decisions just strictly with intellect. Okay, black and white. I worked with a guy once that's like, I don't put my emotions not involved in it. I make a decision, it's black and white. We're going to fire the guy. I don't care if he's got 3 kids and they're going to end up on food stamps. Not my problem. Just intellectual decision. And then there are people who hopefully have a little bit more heart and they make the decisions with their heart. They see things properly with their heart. They act as a good neighbor with their heart. They act as a good friend with their heart. This is why, if you look at the next line in the Mishne, it says, Amar lahem. So this is Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. I remember, right? Yeah, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said to them, Ro'eh ani et divrei Elazar ben Arach, shebichlal dvarav divrechem. I see that the words of Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, which are again Lev Tov, really is the choice to make in life, because when you choose that, you're also choosing to be a Shachen Tov, a Chaver Tov, Ro'eh Tanai. All those fall into that category. That's his statement. Bezat Hashem next week. I'm not going to continue now. Next week, the second half of this Mishnah, or it could be in your book, the next Mishnah, it looks at the opposite. Now we're saying what we're supposed to proactively choose. The next part of the Mishnah is going to discuss what do we stay away from. Most of them will be just the opposite, a mirror image, with one exception. One's going to be borrowing and not paying back. What in the world does that have to do with it? You shall see. Same bat time, same bat check. It's Ratasha. Toda. Yes, you're welcome.